Okay, let's give it the old test 1 2 1 2. Okay, let's give it the old test 1 2 1 2. All right, we are good. What is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless one of the man, Lincoln Clay, and we are back for a live stream. We are stress testing my PCs. I'm doing the 2 PC setup again. Normally, whatever that was. Normally, when I do the 2 PC setup, whatever I play, whatever game I'm going to stream from my main PC, which has a 4090 in it. Then using the 2 PC setup, the NDI plugin, which is called Distroff now through OBS, I stream it from the PC in my bedroom, which has a 3070 Ti in it. Well, today the PCs have switched roles. So right now I am in my bedroom playing Raceroom on my streaming PC, and the main PC with the 4090 in it is streaming the game. So this is a stress test just to see how much my streaming PC can handle, because I've already proven that it can play just about any game in my library, but would it be able to play it any of these games with OBS open, putting added weight onto the computer? And so that's what this is for. And not only that, it can strengthen my argument that if you want to sim race, be it on PC or console, it doesn't have to be expensive. As you know, so we're gonna do a couple of laps on Raceroom, and then we'll hop on over to Le Mans Ultimate, and then I will once again break down how inexpensive sim racing can be, be it on PC or console. And this is just something periodically I feel like I need to reach out to people who want to sim race but think it's expensive. It doesn't have to be. Yeah, I mean, like if you want to set up uh like Dan Suzuki or something like that, look like he's sitting inside the space shuttle, then yeah, you're gonna pay. But I mean, if you're just a casual, just want to come home and race for an hour or two, once a week or something like that, it doesn't have to be expensive at all, and you can still get a very good experience. So, and I am in VR, and I am in my bedroom. I am in VR, and I am on my Logitech G923 wheelbase, and we will do a few laps around here. One of these tracks. Let's see here. Let's pick one. I just got done using the Porsche. I think this time I'm gonna let's do the McLaren. Where is it? Because I know I own the car. It's not showing it on here. Because everything you see in purple, I don't own it. I'd have to buy it. So going right here to the McLaren. See, that's weird. On my other computer, I own the McLaren, but for whatever reason, on this computer, it's not giving me an option to select the McLaren. So I guess that's weird. You know what? Let's try the Nissan GTR. Track So I've got 33 tracks to choose from. Let me see here. Bathurst or Laguna Seca. Let's go Bathurst. Just a 5-minute race. So this takes a little bit longer to load on this PC because I don't have it. Oh shit, the steering's on the right side. I don't have the game downloaded on my SSD. So on this computer, it takes a little bit longer. slower than molasses. Jesus. It still made my point. What's crazy was this picture looked pretty good. And again, I'm on a 3070 Ti, and because I'm sim racing in VR and I've got OBS open all on my streaming PC, the resolution I have the resolution on the VR headset set to like 1900, give or take, whereas on my on my big gaming PC with the 4090 in it, I've got the resolution like running at like 3400p. The graphical settings, let's check them out. Like with this computer, like holy shit, the aliasing is turned up to 8 times and it still ran that good. Let me turn this shit down a little bit. That's crazy. I got all this shit running high. I did not know that, and the shit still ran good. Like, that picture looked good. I mean, I pretty much saw no glittering from aliasing. Visual effects, particle detail, we can turn that down to medium. We can turn bloom off. Display, high impact. So, visual effects, shadows. We could turn that down to medium. Track level of detail, we can turn that down to medium. Holy shit. That, I had all this shit turned up to high and it still ran pretty damn good and it looked good. I am literally blown away by that. Sharpening, we could probably stand to turn that up a little bit. We could probably turn that up a little bit. High impact. Car reflection quality, again, we can turn that down to medium. Rear view mirror quality, we can turn that down to medium. Shadows are already on medium. Holy shit, we got 28 visible cars. I did not know that. Shit, let's take it down to about 15. Yeah, take it down to about 15. And the aliasing, we take that down to about 4. Holy shit. Track, car texture quality. I guess we could turn that down to medium. Cockpit. Show the driver's seat, opponent's cockpits, wheel and hands, steering animation, steering rotation. All right. Let's do another single event. Holy shit. Folks, that right there made my argument. You guys just saw what I had all this stuff set on. Everything was set on high. I had no idea. A lot of these games will go by your PC spec and they'll set it for you for optimal visuals and performance. So I already expected the graphical settings, a lot of this stuff to be set to low, but it was set to high with 28 cars rendered. Incredible. Let's see here. What are we going to do next? Attracted, I don't do that much. Hangor ring, yeah. I've done Monza a million times. I do not care for Nordschleife. So at this point, I've already done Watkins Glen, Silverstone, Suzuka. I've already done those. So at this point, I'm thinking of either Laguna Seca or Hungaroring. Let's do Laguna for the car. Hey, let's try this old Corvette C7. Now, I think Le Mans Ultimate, I believe, is a little bit more demanding, but I do have the help of the OpenXR toolkit. That will definitely help. We'll do a little bit of putting around over there. And then, when I get done, I'll break down, how inexpensive that this stuff can be. That is still a clear picture. I'm absolutely blown away. I mean, I would expect this on my other PC, but this is my streaming PC. And you guys heard me say it a million times. I got 4 PCs, and my weakest PC has a 2070 in it. That PC's not even hooked up. It's just sitting in the corner somewhere. But I'm getting ready to upgrade that PC because last weekend I ordered. I bought my son a 5070 for his PC, and so I've taken the 3070 that was in that PC, and I'm going to put it in the PC that's sitting in the corner with the 2070 in it. And after that, I might sell it. So that PC, especially with the flat screen games, it'll be enough to get the job done. And for most VR games, it'll be enough to get the job done. You might have to play with the settings a little bit. But okay, let's see what we got here. Now that we got all this stuff turned down to medium and rendered less cars. right. And the other thing about this is that I'm running this at a native 90 frames per second. Not using any asynchronous space warp or DSL or anything like that. 90 frames native. Again, I've got the resolution set to about 1900p because this is, one of my weaker PCs. And you saw what the in-game settings was. I had everything was set to high, which I had no idea. And that left me pleasantly surprised. And the picture was really, really good. Yeah, at 1900p, I expected it to be a little bit, slightly blurry, soft edges, but no, it was a sharp picture. It's getting a little bit warm in here, so you guys are gonna hear a little bit of because I got the fan going on here. So I'll do one more putt around race. You know what? Let's go ahead and head on over to Le Mans Ultimate. So you guys are going to see a black screen for a second because I have to input Le Mans Ultimate as a source. And then I have to switch over to the OpenXR toolkit. So hold on. This screen's going to be black for a couple of minutes. Okay, so Le Mans Ultimate is booting up. Now, what I'm going to have to do is go into OBS and input it as a source, and then you guys should see a screen here in a second. And let me turn that music down. There we go. Turn it down. Okay, folks, give me a second. Okay, here we are. Le Mans Ultimate on my streaming PC, and I've already tested it, so I already know that it's going to run, but I'll show you guys my settings before we go into a race. Go here to graphics, 1080p. You see post effects are low. A lot of the stuff here is low, circuit detail, all that stuff. I got about 10 cars rendered. units. Let's go Imperial. Miles per hour, battery units, all that stuff. So yeah, as you guys can see, most everything is on low. So I don't know if I should turn that up or not. We'll try it. It couldn't hurt. So we will do a little bit of race weekend so I can jump into my trusty Corvette. And let's do Silverstone. And there is the Corvette made by my teammate, Henez Catone. It looks all black right now, but that's because all the other stuff, the endorsements and stuff haven't populated yet. No, I don't want any rain, so we want a clear race. Weather. Yep. So we got hypercars in here too. Let's go. Let's see what we got. See how this runs. So we'll putt around here a little bit, do a couple of laps here on Silverstone. Then we'll move on to another track, putt around, do a couple of laps. And then I will break it down again, what you're looking to spend, depending on what you want to experience. It doesn't have to be expensive. I mean, if money is no object, then there's, then you don't need to listen to my breakdown. But yeah, if you want to save some money, or you got a budget, then yeah, definitely want to listen to me break this down again. Le Mans Ultimate takes a long time to load anyway, especially when you do the race weekend. It takes even longer, which is weird. The online stuff loads up faster. So that's probably what I should have done. We'll do that next time. We'll do a few laps here, and then we'll go into an online practice session. So for context here, my fastest lap on Le Mans Ultimate, using this Corvette on Silverstone, my fastest lap was a 159.6, I believe. And that was on my Fanatec wheelbase. So I'm curious to see what my fastest lap will be here on this Logitech G93, G923 wheelbase. So let's do the car setup. It's only 8-minute race. So we're only going to end up doing about 4 laps.
Formation lap has started.
So on this wheelbase, I don't have everything mapped out the way I do on my Fanatec wheelbase. So I just got basically what I needed to map out the traction control. I don't necessarily need to map out the ABS on here, but I mean, if I wanted to get serious about it, yeah, then I would map out everything on this wheel. but this wheel doesn't have near as many buttons as my formula wheel on my Fanatec setup. So I wouldn't be able to map out everything, but I would be able to map out enough to get the job done. So right now we're running at 84 frames per second, 85. It might...
Green flag, green flag.
All right, we're at 89, give or take. So now that everything's spread out, I'm at 90 frames per second. You guys don't see the frame counter, but I've got it inside the headset with me. So the frame's running anywhere between 83 and 90 frames per second. And I know a lot of that probably had to do with me turning up the aliasing. Must got the shadows turned up kind of high. Because it looks pretty black underneath that Ferrari, so I think I might have the shadows turned up kind of high. That'll give me a couple of frames back too if I turn that down. got to be careful with that. The fuck? This race is set for 8 hours? No, I was waiting. I thought it was set for 8 minutes. I'm wondering why I didn't see the last, one more lap to go sign. Okay. So I did, what did I do? 201, zoom. Fastest lap was a 201.7. I think I can get into the 2 minutes, but I don't think I can get into the 159s with this wheelbase. But it's crazy though, because on Raceroom, when I jumped on, what track was it? Suzuka, I did a 203.3 with my Fanatec wheelbase, but I did a 204. No, actually take that back. I did a 203.8 with this Logitech wheelbase. So I'd say, I'm about a half a second off with this Logitech wheelbase versus my Fanatec wheelbase. So I think the lap times are comparable. All right, let's go back to the main menu and then have a look at these settings. Because at race start, the frame rate was like 82, 83, and then once the race got going and everything spread out, then it went up to 90 frames, and this is 90 frames native. So even though this game's a little bit demanding, I'm still impressed that it was able to run it. I like that. Let's see here, graphics. We'll turn. Well, we'll see. We'll leave the MS less precise, less demanding aliasing. Shows the output on your external monitor, and that's on. Special effects, range, shadows. Oh, shadows on low. I'll leave them on. That actually looked pretty good to be low, because it was completely black underneath that Ferrari. I thought the shadows was turned up to high. Shadow blur off, raindrops low, robe reflection low. Player detail, texture detail, just rendering detail. We can turn that down to low. And then turn that back down to 2 times. It's going to be a little bit more glittery. We're going to see the shiny edges a little bit more, but it'll give me back solid frames. It shouldn't drop at all, because I do not like seeing frames drop below 88. Upcoming. Well, let's play around with Sebring. Do a couple of laps practice on Sebring, and yeah, gotta have my trusty Corvette. So we are in an online practice lobby. So if you hear what might sound like static, it is the fan sitting next to me, because it is warm in here. Oh, shit. It's 11 o'clock already, so looks like I'll have to shut it down here pretty soon and get ready for work in the morning. But yeah, I'll do a couple of laps, and then, like I said, I'll break it down again. Yeah, I'm the only one in here. Only got 11 minutes. But I only plan to do about 4 or 5 laps anyway. Running buttery smooth. 90 frames per second, no drops. But then again, there's no cars in here with me. It's just me on the track, so I would expect it not to drop any frames. Damn, this shit look bumpy as hell.
287.
Last time there.
Time 2:05.46.
right, yeah, I'm quite a ways off from my other wheelbase. On my Fanatec wheelbase, I normally turn in 203s, sometimes 202s. You know what? For shits and giggles, I already did it once. The 8 hours of Bahrain is this weekend. And even though the team and I have not figured out whether we're going to do it yet, I still turned in some practice laps. Now, this is crazy. On my Fanatec wheelbase, I did a 202.6. And with this Logitech wheelbase, I did a 202.8. Only 2 seconds off between them. So let's get some practice laps in just for curiosity. And if I beat that 202.6 with this wheelbase, it's taking a long time for that to show up. Here we go. So let's get a few practice laps in, and then I'll break it down, then I'll call it a night. So I don't have our team Ferrari loaded up here. But a Ferrari's a Ferrari. Damn, there's already 7 people in here. All right, let's get in here. Let's get in here with some live people. All right. So the car is probably going to be super duper slippery, but we are going to go ahead. What? The Coach Dave setup actually turned everything up. Brake bias. All right, I guess we'll go with that. All right, let's see what we got. So we got 3 GT3s in here and the rest of hypercars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hypercars, at least. Yeah, pull the wheel up a little bit closer. Come on, dude, get to the side of the road if you're going to be that slow. Get off the race line. Lost a lot of time on that one.
Lap 204.28.
I was looking at the Delta, and at one point I was looking at a 202.5. which would have beat my lap on my main cockpit, which would have been crazy. Oh my goodness. But visually, inside the car looks sharp, just like it would on my other rig, on my computer. It's the distance out there where those stands are. I'm seeing a lot of glitter from the aliasing. Now, I could turn the aliasing up to get rid of that glitter, but I would lose frames. So that would probably be the price of having, you know, a 3070 Ti. I can make it run just as good as my 4090 PC. The trade-off is, depending on the game, I'm going to have to turn some things down. Now, surprisingly, especially what I understand, I think Raceroom is a little bit CPU heavy. I was absolutely pleasantly surprised that I was able to run everything high like that. 28 cars rendered, everything was on high. That was shocking. So here I've got 10 cars rendered. Everything's on low. Aliasing is on 2 times, 2x, whatever you want to call it. I turned it up to 4 times, and visually it didn't make all that much of a difference. I mean, I could see some of the reduced glitter, but it didn't change the world. So, but inside this car, absolutely sharp picture. Not seeing any glitter, no aliasing inside the car. Inside the car, yes, a case could be made that it looks just as good as my 4090 PC, but it's out there into the distance. That's the difference. I mean, I see it clearly, it's just glittery. So there's no blur in the distance, it's just the pictures, you know, like I said, is glittery. It's not putting any fuel in the car. Nah, so it's looks like it's serving the penalty first, and then what's going to happen once I come out of the pits, it's going to hit me with a penalty again because I didn't fuel up. You can't do both. You can't serve the penalty and try to fuel up or make a pit stop at the same time. You have to do one, then the other. And in this case, you're going to get hit twice. So you might as well come in and fuel up then come back and serve the penalty, because what's ultimately going to happen is if you come in here and serve the penalty and you get back out there, you're going to get hit with another penalty, but you won't make it around to serve that penalty because you're already out of fuel. So the car is not going to make it around for the next lap. So yes, it's not putting any fuel in the car when nearing the 100-second mark. Okay, so 100 seconds. Now watch. When I go back out, because I didn't put any fuel in the car, because I served a penalty. Oh shit, now I'm going to get hit with speeding too on top of that. Speeding in the pit lane. So yeah, that's an absolute disaster. Okay. So let's return to the garage. Okay, so let me break this down before I go ahead and get out of here. So as I was saying before, and I've said on numerous occasions, sim racing doesn't have to be expensive. If you have absolutely nothing, but you want to get into sim racing and you're on a budget, or you want to try to keep the cost as low as possible, the cheapest route to take, in my opinion, would be like this, and you want a decent wheelbase, this Logitech G923 that I have in the bedroom with me, it was $400 retail. That is overpriced. That is too much. They are selling them on eBay for like $150, or in a couple of cases even less. So we'll just say $150. There's your wheelbase. If you don't need a rig, that'll save you anywhere from, $300 to $900. If you don't want a rig and you just want to clamp it to a desk or a table, right there. So we're at $150 for the wheelbase. Now you need hardware in order to play racing games. So buying a PlayStation or an Xbox secondhand would be the next cheapest route. So you could probably catch a PlayStation on eBay or secondhand for about $300. Now we're up to $450. That's it. You're set. That's the absolute cheapest route. Now with $450. The only catch to using a PlayStation is that if you want to race online, you will need PlayStation Plus in order to race online, which is $80 a year. But if you never plan to race online, that's it. $300 for a PlayStation, $150 for the wheelbase. That's it. You're set. $450. Now, if you want to expand on that experience and get a PSVR 2 headset, they do retail for $400 now. But again, you could catch one secondhand on eBay for about $250. So now you're up to $700. A PlayStation, a wheelbase, and a PSVR 2 headset. $700. For the price of a PS5 Pro, you can get a PS5, a Logitech G29 wheelbase, and a PlayStation VR headset, PSVR 2, $700. And you're set. There it is. There's your racing setup. Now, granted, as far as the PSVR 2 part goes, GT7 is the only racing game on PlayStation that has racing support. The only pure racing game. You got other stuff that's built from the ground up VR racing games, but I don't count those. Now, as far as PC goes, if you don't plan to race in VR and you're okay with racing at 1080p, you could probably go as low as a 2070. I'm seeing those on eBay for about $150 to build the rest of the PC. the CPU, the motherboard, the power unit, all that stuff, you can still get it all dirt cheap. I mean, you can get a power unit, like you can go buy a brand new power unit, 700 watt power unit from Best Buy for like $60. So you can, I've seen on eBay, you can get like 1,000 watt power supply unit off eBay for like $80. So the rest of the PC, you can probably build for less than, I'm thinking you could probably build the rest of the PC for like less than $250. So if you build a PC with a 2070 in it, case, CPU, GPU, motherboard, all that shit, a complete computer, I'd say you're probably looking at about $400. Now, if you want to race in VR, that's where I recommend you go up. You would need at least, in my opinion, a 3070, because I'm proving it right here, right now, because I'm showing you guys this. I'm playing on my streaming PC, which has a 3070 Ti in it, and you guys seen how good it runs. So on eBay, I've seen 3070 Ti's go for around $250, give or take. Rest of the PC, again, we're probably looking at about $250. So we're probably looking at about $500 to build a PC with a 3070 Ti in it. You add the $150 for the Logitech wheelbase that I'm using. Now we're up to $650. The headset. If you want the cheapest brand new headset, I would go with the Quest 3S, which is $300 brand new. They were selling them refurbished for $215. Or if you want to go cheaper than that, you can get a used Quest 2 for about, I think, $150. And hell, if you want to go cheaper than that, you can probably catch a Rift S off eBay for about anywhere between $50 and $100. So $500 for the PC if you go with a 3070 Ti. $150 for the wheelbase. Now we're up to $650. And for the headset, or VR headset, we're looking at anywhere between another $50 and $300. So cheapest, $50. We're up to $700 for the PC, the wheelbase, and the headset. $700. You buy a used Quest 2, $100. We're up to $800. Brand new Quest 3, that's extra $200. Now we're up to $1,000. So there you have it. Absolute cheapest route. A used PlayStation, a used PSVR 2 headset, a used wheelbase. Again, 300, 455, $700. PC route. So we'll throw the 2070 out. I would say go with the 2070. Let's throw that out. I would recommend going with a 3070 Ti, just in case you want to go the VR route and sim race in VR. So we're looking at $500 for the PC, $150 for the wheelbase. Now we're up to $650. And then, like I said, if you could catch like a used Rift S, you can probably catch one of those for about, anywhere between $50 and $100. $700. $700 minimum. Probably $1,000 at the most. So this is aimed at people who have a budget or starting with nothing and just, want to get their foot in the door. So again, it doesn't have to be expensive. But yeah, if you don't want any parts of VR and you want the absolute cheapest, there you go. $450, like I said, $300 for a used PlayStation, $150 for a used wheelbase, $450. But then you got to tack on the $80 a year for the PlayStation Plus in order to play online, because I think it really defeats the purpose of even sim racing if you have no intentions of racing online. I think it kind of defeats the purpose. But if you don't want to race online, there it is, $450 flat. That's it. And you're in business. So again, it doesn't have to be expensive. So with that, I'm going to boogie on out of here. Thank you all for watching this stress test video, testing my streaming PC, because today the streaming PC is the gaming PC. I'm gaming on my streaming PC, which has a 3070 Ti. I've said it a number of times. The CPU, it has a i7 11700K, 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM. I think at maybe 3200 hertz. I'm not sure. I believe it's a 6 or 700 watt power supply. So I'm thinking to build this particular PC that I'm sitting at right here, you're probably looking at about $500 to $600. So there you have it. Let's watch some people. Let's watch for a second before I get out of here. I'm just curious. Let's watch this guy. No, he's not populated yet. Let's go here. Don't look like any of these cars are populated. See how the replay looks. Practice. And then I'll have to go back and check this stream before I go to bed and see if anything's out of sync. Thanks, Katoni. All right, so I found out what I absolutely needed to know. If my main computer takes a dump, well, I mean, if the computer takes a dump, there's still the other computer that my son uses when he comes over on the weekend. That PC has a 3080 Ti. It has a i9 12900K, has 32 gigs of DDR5, so it's got more than enough to get the job done. It's actually, in terms of performance, it's actually not that far away from my 4090 PC. I've run some tests on that PC before, and I'm pretty much running a lot of games at 2900p, 90 frames native, medium settings so I can keep some overhead, but I could easily run things at high. But I went off the tracks a little bit. If push comes to absolute shove and I had to use this computer, it can get the job done. If my wheelbase, my Fanatec Podium DD1, if something were to happen to that, if it was to take a dump or it wasn't working and push came to absolute shove, then yes, I could use this Logitech G923 if push came to shove. So all that being said, yes. If you have this same setup, you'll be fine. And then the other thing about it is, if you go with this same setup in terms of the PC, the wheelbase, that kind of stuff, if you don't have any plans to stream, then that'll all the more free up overhead for you to play with the other settings, the graphics, resolution, cars rendered, what have you. So yeah, I'm definitely happy with knowing that this computer can get the job done. Now, moving forward, as far as playing games, like, I put this in here, this Logitech wheelbase, so I can just roll out of bed from a nap or whatever. If I'm feeling lazy, I can just hop up and do a couple of laps without having to go to the other wheelbase and go through all these checks and make sure everything's working correctly and doing all these damn system checks and updates and all that shit. If I choose to hop in a race from this PC or plug the wheelbase into my PlayStation, it's pretty much plug and play and I can just go. But in terms of what I'll stream from this computer, I'm going to run the PlayStation through the capture card on this PC. So moving forward, when I stream GT7, if I need to take the headset off to take a break, I can, because if you stream directly from the PlayStation, if you take the headset off, it disconnects YouTube. So yeah, I'll be moving forward, I'll be running the PlayStation through the capture card. And then as far as games that I would probably stream from this computer, probably be Forza Motorsports. In any other game that I like, maybe choose to race flat screen, but everything else will be pretty much on the main computer. So either way, I'm covered. I've been rambling. Thanks for watching, everybody. Really appreciate it. Need to get my ass to bed here. It's already midnight here, Eastern time. So we'll see what's going on tomorrow. New dailies for GT7 and Raceroom. We'll have to see what those dailies look like. And then we get new dailies on Tuesday for Le Mans Ultimate. And then, yeah, damn, busy week. Then NASCAR 25 releases on PC on Tuesday. And then Rensport comes out of early access on Thursday. So very busy week. So I'll definitely be streaming Rensport one way or the other. It's just a matter of whether I end up streaming it from PC or PS5. We'll have to see how that goes. So there's the schedule. Very busy week. Very exciting week. So, all right, now I'm done. I'm shutting my mouth. I'm for real. I'm about to get out of here. I'll see you guys soon. And until the next one, you all know the line. Wakanda forever. Long live the king, and deuces. Have a good night, good morning, wherever you may be, and talk to you later.
Thank you.